Hi guys, how are you? Hope you are doing good. Welcome back to the channel Agriculture Makes Strong. Today let us discuss about rice farming and some of the important points related to the rice and some of the useful points which are related to competitive exams like ARS, SRF, JRF and some PhD entrance examinations, and some of the important facts are also covered in this video. If you like this video, please like, share and subscribe. NPK recommendations, and coming to the nitrogen, phosphorus and potassium, there are some of the recommended doses, and also for the uh, in the parts like northeast or eastern states, there are some of the doses which should be followed for the rice. NPK, the recommended dose of fertilizer is like 120 to 150 120 to 150 kg nitrogen, and 40 P2O5, 20 to 40 kg K2O per hectare. And in the northern and eastern states, it is 80 kg nitrogen, 40 kg phosphorus and 40 kg potassium per hectare has been taken. In the recommended dose of 9 pk for rain-fed rice is like less than 20% that of the irrigated and lowland areas. And coming to the full dose of phosphorus and potassium will be added to the half nitrogen applied before the last puddling. And in some of the stages how we should give the NPK recommendations, it should be noted. Here you can see that before the last puddling we are giving a full dose of phosphorus and K and giving half dose of nitrogen. And in the tillering stage, we are tillering stage, that is 25 to 30 days 30 days after the transplanting, we are giving only half nitrogen at the tillering stage. And also at the panicle initiation, that is 55 to 65 days after transplanting, we are giving half nitrogen. This all recommendations should be taken in mind and should be followed for the rice crop for the better growth improvement. And coming to the rice varieties, some of the important rice varieties which is useful for you and for also competitive purposes exams. First we will see about the first dwarf variety of rice developed in world, which is TN1 in Taiwan in at 1964 to 1965. This is the main dwarf. This is the first main dwarf variety which has been developed, TN1. And also first high yielding dwarf developed in world is IR8 by cross between PETA and DG Woojin. This IR8 has been developed through the cross between PETA and the DG Woojin. And the meaning of DG Woojin is brown striped short-legged. And in 1964, the introduction of Taishan Native 1 in India signaled a new era in the improvement of rice yield. And IR8, you know that IR8 was the second introduced variety in India from the IARI Manila, which headquarters at Philippines in 1965. And also we will see the first Indian high yielding and semi-dwarf variety, which is showing that Jaya. Jaya is the miracle rice and it is released in 1968. It has the good yield as compared to the TN1 and IR8 both. And Calcutta, Orissa evolved two varieties of rice like Malinga and Masuri. In Masuri we are using in daily life. And coming to the some of the important like mutant dwarf varieties suitable for direct seedlings, we will be seeing one by one. Mutant dwarf varieties of rice is Jagannathan and Satari, and varieties suitable for direct seedling will be Bala, Kaveri, Nagina 22, Pusa 221, and bacterial leaf blight 2 tolerant TKM6. Salinity tolerant is IR8 and Lunishri. Unsuitable for the waterlogging area is like Jalmagan. And first hybrid of Basmati in world is PRH10. And first hybrid of rice in India is CORH1 1995. 1994. Sorry. Variety released from IARI will be like some of the varieties from the IARI like Norin 8 and 18, Pusa 221 and Basmati 370, Pankaj IR20. And we'll be discussing that Pusa Basmati 1, which is the world's first high yielding dwarf variety, which is having the quality rice developed by IARI through convergent breeding. By following the convergent breeding, they have developed the first high yielding dwarf variety under the quality of rice developed by IARI. And coming to the other varieties like Padma, which has been developed for the upland, Pankaj, which has suitable for the waterlogged conditions, and Ratna, Chambal, Sita, Sabarmati, etc. has been included in the varieties of the rice. And coming to the diseases in the rice, let us discuss one by one. And the major one is the Khaira disease. Khaira disease, how it is caused and how it has been developing, and what is the deficiency of the zinc, what is the why this Khaira disease has been happening, and what are the deficiencies we will see, and who developed and who reported, what is the management of the Khaira disease we will be seeing. In Khaira disease, what is the Khaira disease means? Due to deficiency of zinc, it causes Khaira disease in rice. Which stage? At nursery stage. And the tip of the zinc deficient leaves first become yellow and then dry, and plant retained stunted. So at the tip of the leaves it become yellow at first, and then the plant becomes stunted in the growth. So the zinc deficiency can be seen easily, and the zinc deficiency is marked by the appearance of rust color also, or brownish red coloration on the surface of the outer leaves. And also some of these symptoms like red, first it starts with yellow and appearance will be like a rust color or the brownish red coloration on the surface. And it is first reported by Y.L. Nini in 1966 at Pantnagar, Uttarakhand, and it is managed. What is the management for the Khaira disease and zinc deficiency means? At spray of at 5 kg zinc sulfate at nursery level will be responsible management for the disease of Khaira, and the foliar spray of 0.5% zinc sulfate in early stage of the crop. These are some of the points related to the Khaira disease. And coming to the silicon in rice. Silicon is regarded as essential nutrient for many crops, and also for the rice it is an essential nutrient for the production purpose. And also the silicon deficient plants will be showing like they will be soft and droopy, and they will be requiring the panicle initiation. At the supply of panicle initiation stage, sulfur is mostly required for the plant. During this stage, the rot activity is relatively reduced and the rate of transpiration is high, so that the water evaporation will be more and there will be a decrease in the silicon supply. And it has been noticed that silicon provides a thick cuticle silica layer which functions as a barrier against the attack by the insects and pests. This will be an advantage where the silicon is produced, so that there will be a thick cuticle layer for the against it will be a barrier for the against of attack of insects and pests. So silicon is very important, and silicon deficiency can also be corrected by application of some of the managements like basic slag at 1.5 to 2 tons per hectare. And also because of the basic slag, it is very most important source of the calcium sulfate. So there is a need for the silicon. So if there is any deficiency, you should be taking the management and crop and making the crop healthy. After that, we will be discussing about the browning of rice. What is browning of rice and how it is formed? Due to iron toxicity in the rice, there will be browning of rice. So, if you observe any browning in the rice field, it is due to the iron toxicity. You should notify. Iron toxicity is the major problem for the rice production, because in waterlogged acid sulfates of there is a problem to rice production in waterlogged acid sulfate soils of aldezols and oxazole soil orders. And if we see at the beginning of the iron toxicity, there will be appearance of purple color at the leaf tips, and finally scorch appearance. We will be seeing the purple color at the leaf tips, and we will be observing the purple color at the tips and also scorch appearance. And Falguna variety is tolerance to iron toxicity. And coming to some of the herbicides of the used in the rice crop, like there will be some of the herbicides we will be discussing here, like herbicides like benthicarbamide at the rate of 2 kg AI per hectare is applied as pre-emergence of weeds, and also we take propanil where it is applied as at the rate of 3 kg AI per hectare is applied at when a propanil is applied at 3 kg means after the 1 week of transplanting, and we can use the butachlor at 2 to 3 kg. It is used at the stage of pre-emergence so that the weeds cannot be emerged in the field, and effective control for the annual and the broadleaf of as pre-emergence weeds, because weeds are not killed. Next, coming to the Annulophus, it is the pre-emergence and also post-emergence selective herbicides to control the annual grasses and also weeds, sedges, some of the broad-leaved weeds in the transplanted and direct seeded rice. So by taking the herbicides like benthicarbamide, propanil, butachlor, Annulophus, we will be getting the more production and reducing the weeds. Let us see about weed management like Echinoclova crusgali, barnyard grass, and Echinoclova colonum, wide rice are major weeds in rice. There will be a mimicry rice weeds also in the crop. We should take the major effect, and also we should follow some of the steps to decrease the weeds. The weed problem is less in lowland transplanted rice compared to the upland directed seeds. If we compare in the lowland and the upland, there will be less weed problem in the lowland and more problem in the upland directed seeds. Coming to the puddling and critical stages of water. What is puddling? Puddling means it is a process where there will be a mixture of the soil, so that the mechanical mixture will be taken force in the soil aggregates, and also with the excessive moisture condition. After the puddling, there will be excessive moisture condition, and it is very useful for the crop, and puddling destroys the soil structures and hampers root penetration and the development of succeeding upland crop growth in the rotation with crop. So puddling increases the bulk density at the rate of 1.4 to 1.7 gram per cc, and also the equipment will be like a puddler, and the main objective of the puddler will be there will be reducing in the percolation of water, and it is the main objective for the puddling process in the rice, and to reduce the weed infestation and also increases the nutrients availability. Coming to the method of rice cultivation, we have depot method of rice cultivation. We have already discussed this in the uh, nursery method, and also we will be seeing depot method of cultivation. It comprises of dense stand of seedlings without contact of soil, and 25 to 30 meter square nursery area is sufficient for 1 hectare. And coming to the hybrid rice, in the hybrid rice was firstly developed by China by using cytoplasm male sterility and also restore the gene systems. After that, China, India is the second country. We can say greatly that India is the second country for the producing the hybrid rice and commercialized hybrid rice APRH1, APRH2 in Andhra Pradesh, and KRH Karnataka, and MGR1 in Tamil Nadu. These are the main hybrids which has been developed in India, and PHB 71 is the most highly hybrid rice which is released by private organizations. And coming to the system of rice investigation, there are some of the points should be covered for the CSRI. There is a basic principle of SRI where it shows the significant in the reducing the plant population, irrigation quantities, and also improving the soil conditions by using less annual herbicides or chemicals. So it is SRI is very beneficial, and also 20 to 100% of increased yields and 90% reduction in the seeds, and up to 50% water saving is followed in the SRI method. In SRI method, the average yields of rice will be like 6 to 7 tons per hectare, compared to the conventional method will be like 2 to 3 tons per hectare. And this SRI method we will be following uh, average yield like 6 to 7 tons per hectare. It is good yield. And SRI method adopted for upland or rain-fed rice, as well as for the crops such as wheat, sugarcane, millets, mustards. And the spacing should be like 25 to 25 centimeters are adopted. And seedlings at the two-leaf stage, that is like 8 to 12 days old, should be taken. And nursery area is like 100 meters square, enough with the seed rate for 2 kg per hectare. And demerit of the disadvantage of the SRI is that it requires more labor at initial years. Coming to the method of processing of rice. What is the method of processing of rice? We will be seeing step by step. Here, first after the harvesting taken, we will take the spikelets, and we will get the paddy rice, and we will take the grain and dehusk it, and milling has been done. And after that, brown rice we will polish that, and after the polishing, first we will take milling, dehusking. After dehusking, polishing has been done. After polishing, it remains as, after polishing it remains as white rice. And it has some of the bran and embryo. And in the dehusking we will be removing husk, and after the polishing it will show the pure white rice. And coming to the next process of rice, like it is the stepwise flow chart where it is showing the processing of rice. First we will take paddy rice which has been harvested, and cleaning has been done. Cleaned paddy, dehusk it well. After that we will come across the brown rice. We will take the brown rice. Next process will be polishing. After polishing, grinding, we will get the white rice. In the cleaned paddy, we will process and paraboiled paddy has been. Characters of good quality rice. There will be some of the good quality rice characters we will be discussing here. We will see long slender translucent grain and milled rice, and aroma may or may not be present. High expansion after cooking, fluffiness we will be seeing, firm texture of cooked rice, appealing taste, longer shelf life. The variety of Pusa 1121 is good example for having these characters with scented quality in the Pusa 1121. And some of the important questions for the competitive exams related to the rice will be like we will be discussing. And the sowing time of Oz or autumn rice will be April to May. The sowing time of Boro rice November to December. Rice inflorescence is called as panicle. Rice is a type of plant, short day plant. Cardinal temperature of rice is like 30 to 32 degrees Celsius. Hulling percentage of rice is 65%, and fruit of rice is caryopsis. Widely used nitrogenous fertilizer in rice is ammonium sulfate. Optimum pH of soil required for growing rice is 4 to 6 pH. And coming to the next points, like mat type nursery is related to the crop paddy. Test weight of basmati rice is 21 kg. The maximum exporter of rice in world is Thailand. Most critical stage of water of rice is booting stage. Biofertilizer of rice is azolla. Seedling ready for transplanting in depot method after sowing is 11 to 14 days. Most dominant wheat species in rice is Echinoclova species. White eye of rice is due to iron deficiency. The gas emits from rice due to methane. And coming to the next point, Akioki disease in rice due to H2S toxicity. Highest nitrogen losses in rice crop by denitrification. Pyra and urethra cropping pattern is closely related to the rice. A parboiling of rice conserves the vitamin B12, and the seed rate in the Depok method for rice is 3 to 4 kg per meter square. The area required for seedling preparation in Depok method will be like 25 to 30 meter square. The miracle rice in India is Jaya. Gene responsible for the dwarfness in the rice is DG gene, and the spacing for rice sowing of seeding is 20 into 10 centimeter. Skyra disease of rice is due to zinc deficiency. Reclamation disease of cereals due to copper deficiency, and the rice grain is said to be extra long if it is having 7 or more. Thank you.
If you like this video, please subscribe to my channel